Okay, we are here with Amber, Summer, Char, and Tabby. We're going to be talking about what happened to the poor little Yorkie and the puppies. Char, you were the point person on this. You're Summer's mom. Do you want to give the short version of what happened?
Summer called me because she was informed by her neighbor that her mother's small Yorkie was in labor, and she was in distress. So Summer called me, and I rushed over to see if I could help because I have Yorkies of my own. Unfortunately, she was in labor for 20 hours at this point and still hadn't delivered. So we took it upon ourselves to get the dog medical attention as soon as possible.
And you called the OSPCA,
yes,
the local
did.
SD&G OSPCA.
It was a Sunday evening, so they didn't answer, and we just didn't have any time to wait for a call back. So we called every vet we possibly could until we had gotten somebody's voice, so that we could get assistance right away.
You guys were lucky you found Dr. Ian McNaughton in Martintown.
Yeah, absolutely.
One of the best vets locally.
That was fantastic.
And he took command, and you guys brought the dog there. The owner didn't go with you, but her daughter did?
Yeah.
All right. Amber, do you want to continue the story? Because you wrote a very, very detailed letter that you sent to the OSPCA.
Well, I guess I could add that I was the one making phone calls. And as soon as I got a hold of Ian's receptionist, I said, I'm so thankful right now. Said, listen, this is what's going on, and the owner is completely irresponsible, has no concern whatsoever. So that's why I'm calling. And then within the same half hour, Ian had said, I'll see you in 20 minutes, and we were there right away with the dog. She got the attention she needed, and then the next few days were where things started getting really troublesome.
And you're a dog person. You want to go to vet school, right?
I love all animals. I will.
How old was the mother?
I think they actually said in the house that Pearl, like the owner,
No, the dog.
Oh. Just turned a year old, I believe they said. Like
A dog normally shouldn't be bred before 2 or 3.
I don't have dogs, but I personally wouldn't breed until he's 3 years.
Yeah.
But that's just to play it safe.
Right.
The first heat they took advantage of.
And again, this is not your dog. No. Pearl, the owner, was not someone that you were closely acquainted with. And you guys took it upon yourself with Pearl's daughter, to take the dog to Martintown to Dr. McNaughton. Yes. So, Char, what happens once you get there?
To the vets?
Yeah.
Well, he obviously had examined her. Ian took her in. We all followed. He examined her and to see, if she started dilating. He couldn't insert his finger because she's just way too small. Way too small. He immediately told us that there was no way that she was going to be able to deliver on her own, and that she needed a C-section. So we told him to go ahead with the surgery. He was there by himself, so he had us assist in once the pups were born, he had us assist in trying to revive them. Unfortunately, they were born with faint heartbeats. They weren't breathing, so...
And you said there was a problem with the male puppy.
When he had cut Lola, the mother, open, when he pulled the puppy sacks out, the smell, because she had been in labor for 20 hours, well, maybe 21 at this point, but the smell had just overtaken the room. And then when we had looked, initially everything looked fine until he kind of turned them over, and the sack to the male pup was rotting. It was like a bright green, and it was disgusting. So when he finally cut the sack open, little boy came out, and his head was about this long because he had been stuck in the birth canal for...
And both puppies didn't survive 48 hours?
No, by the 48th hour, they had both passed. The male, 24 hours, and the female...
Now, you guys were saying that the owner of the dog didn't have any money for the vet, didn't have a vet, didn't have any care.
No. I had initially met her a month before, And I asked her, especially with Yorkies, they really need to be able to see a vet. I told her that she should have an ultrasound done, make sure that she's going to be able to deliver, if not set up a C-section date for her before anything got too complicating. And she just was resilient to it all. She didn't care. So anyways, so then when I went in, and this is where we insisted that we take the animal to the vet, and she had no intention at all. She said that she had no money, that she wasn't going to.
She offered us $9
And we yelled at her. And
So, Summer, you were there, and you were key to having this come together and saving the life of the mother dog. What was it like when you went into the house?
I was pretty upset, actually, when I went in, because the dog's under enough stress being in labor, but there was maybe about 6 people in there, and immediately I was like, get out. And then me and Amber adding on to those 6 people, I had to ask the daughter to leave and the neighbor to leave, and you could tell the dog was just very distressed, walking around, confused, didn't know where to go, it wasn't comfortable laying anywhere.
Was there a birthing crate? Was there any toweling?
No, there were pee pads everywhere that were extremely used on every single one. They weren't keeping up with changing them or anything like that. There was a crate that another dog was in, but that was to keep that dog.
That was the male.
no,
Not the male Yorkie, but one of the...
the male was locked upstairs.
How many dogs did this woman have?
3.
3.
That we've seen.
And cats as well.
Just
Pregnant cat. She had 3 cats from what I saw. I don't know if she had more, but 3 cats from what I saw, and then one of them is pregnant. So, and the house, when I first went into the home, I immediately went to the window and opened it because it stunk so bad of feces and urine, which was all over the place, right?
Tabby, you've worked with breeders, and you know a little bit about animals.
I've worked with dogs for 6 years in the past. I worked at a horse ranch. Where I worked, we did breed Yorkies and stuff, and mostly all little dogs. Now keep in mind, the person that I worked with, her mom has had this business for, I couldn't even tell you how many years. They know what to do if emergencies arise. They have all the drugs and stuff, and if the dog cannot pass naturally, they have Ian on call to do cesareans. They have the money prepared. When I came in, because Summer had messaged me to get a hold of Shar, and so I called Shar, and she said that this dog was in labor, and if I could go look at it. When I arrived, I was immediately hit with a very strong smell. The house was...
What type of smell?
Urine.
Okay.
Mainly urine.
Mm-hmm.
There was stuff everywhere. It was very cluttered. The dog couldn't sit still, and I noticed immediately that it wasn't a natural labor.
Mm-hmm.
Every dog that I've seen, they don't basically squat when they're trying to pass puppies.
She had been leaking. She broke her water 20 hours or so before, and you said she was also leaking blood.
When I got there, she wasn't really. It was just clear fluid that she was passing. I knew right offhand natural birth was not going to happen. Just by checking her, there was no milk. And I told the owner, she has to have a C-section. She's not going to be able to pass.
And what did she say to you when you said that?
She kind of seemed not overly worried for the dog's safety. It was just kind of...
But did she actually say anything?
She really didn't say.
Not much. It was mostly her daughter that was speaking to me. But I mean, the daughter had a cell phone, and she wasn't calling vets. It was Amber and Summer that went outside and were contacting vets, which I thought was a little strange, considering it's not their animal. You'd think the daughter would.
Well, she was just reacting to the emergency. Summer, you did something really, really brave and something you should get credit for. You spent your Christmas money to pay this vet bill.
Absolutely.
So what made you decide to do that?
It was more... it wasn't because I felt bad for the owners. It was more so, I watched this dog go through all this. I watched these puppies go through all this, and I'm not just going to let them go back to their owners and stuff like that. So with no hesitation, I said I'd cover the rest of the bill.
Now, ultimately, as we've discovered, that's what's happened. After several days, the Cornwall police demanded that the dog be returned, and you guys returned the dog to the owner. You guys contacted the OSPCA, you claim on the Sunday. You showed me some phone records. When did you first hear back from the OSPCA locally?
we had called the OSPCA from Sunday. We called Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Finally, Wednesday afternoon, I heard back from Bonnie at the OSPCA.
Bonnie is,
She's the bylaw officer.
so it's Bonnie Bishop?
Yes.
Okay.
And
there's only one in Cornwall, in the SD&G?
There's only one in the SD&G area. And she immediately she was horrific. She was very rude to me.
Mm-hmm.
There was not one tone that came out of her mouth was polite.
But what was she saying?
She was telling me that I was a liar, that we had not tried to contact them, and I plainly said, yes, we did. I have proof, phone records,
Mm-hmm.
Smartphones hold phone records as to how many times and what times, how long,
Mm-hmm.
duration, right? So anyways, she yelled at me and told me that I was a liar. She then asked about the pups, and unfortunately, within 24 hours, the male had died. She screamed at me then and asked me why I didn't call her, and I said because while he was dying, Amber was on the phone with Ian, the vet that knew of the case and had taken care of it. And he pretty much told us that there was nothing that we could do about it.
Did Ms. Bishop contact you a second time?
I've not heard from her since.
Did Ms. Bishop ask to see the mother,
Not at all.
the
mother-
female dog?
Not at all. Did not come to my home, did not ask me to bring the dog to her to check the condition of her whatsoever. Not whatsoever.
And how did that make you guys feel when the way this all shook down?
I couldn't, that's her job.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, I was insulted that she was so rude that technically we did her job for her. We saved the dog's life, and for her to be so disrespectful to somebody that she had never met. She had never met me. She never laid eyes on me. There's no reason for her.
So there's summer, and I think you contributed to some of the bill too. So you're spending your Christmas money. You guys all jumped into action, and she's allegedly yelling at you and berating you.
We were in the wrong, absolutely.
Yeah.
Amber, you wrote a very, very profound letter to the cruelty at SPCA.
Absolutely, I did.
Email.
Yeah.
What inspired you to write that email? And you wrote it in vivid detail.
Well, not just kind of stemming from a little bit of anger and annoyance from the way Bonnie wasn't taking action.
Mm-hmm.
I thought, again, we'll take another responsibility on our shoulders. Why not? So then I took the time and I wrote that email. I put as much detail as I could without going overboard or not saying enough. And I sent it. And I've not received any...
You got an autoresponder.
Yeah, just an auto response, nothing personal. Nobody has reached out. Nobody has called. I've also left 2 messages directly for Bonnie.
Mm-hmm.
I've not heard from her once. And I made it clear that I know a lot about what's going on, and that meant nothing. She hadn't called.
So what would you guys like to see happen with this situation? How would you like this resolved?
I would like this woman's animals taken from her. She should not have them. I believe she's an animal hoarder.
Mm-hmm.
She should not have these animals. She's not getting them the proper attention, veterinary care. Poor Lola was bred on her first heat. She's way too young, too small. Her teeth are rotting. Ian had also said that he was wanting to extract some of her teeth during the surgery, but didn't want to put her through any more pain that she had already gone through in the last, 24 hours. And then on her recovery. So, he let it go, but he did say the dog needs to have, a bunch of her teeth removed.
Mm-hmm.
I have Yorkies myself. I wasn't planning on keeping Lola, but I did find her a very good home. If I was going to be able to rehome her, she shouldn't be there.
Tabby, any thoughts?
I believe the owner has good intentions. I mean, I'm pretty sure we've all seen
but
animal
she
cops
loves-
and
yeah.
stuff. It typically happens with elderly. They get lonely. They figure, they're their babies and stuff. They mean well,
Mhm.
but I don't think she has the financial means to take care of all these pets.
She's taking on too much.
She's taking on too much. I mean, I myself have a lot of animals. I have a dog, 3 cats, 3 snakes,
I've
and a
got-
ferret.
I've got over 20.
But I have the financial means to support all my animals if they needed to go to the vet. I know I would find money, and
Mhm.
it would not be passed on to a or if I did have to borrow the money, I would obviously pay it back. I just don't think she has the means to take care of all these animals. I think if she wanted to keep like maybe one of her dogs or a cat, as long as they are fixed and maybe with continuous checkups from the SPCA to make sure the animals are being cared for, I think that would probably help her a lot. She probably doesn't have a lot of support from people, but I think Bonnie should be doing more in the community to help people in need instead of yelling at them whenever people are trying to help.
Bonnie knew of the situation, obviously, from Sunday. It took her 5 days to go and check this woman's house, which gave this woman sufficient enough time to have her house cleaned up, to discredit our word, and
But we don't know if any of that's occurred.
what they.
That anyone's discredited your word or that the house was
No,
cleaned
I
up
know.
or anything.
Well, I understand that, but the fact is that Bonnie took so much time to go over, so it was,
Potentially something could have.
Exactly. Had she gone over when it was first a major issue, then she would have seen,
Summer, you spent your Christmas money on this. Are you hoping to get your money back?
I did get it back, but I
Okay.
didn't. I was under the impression I'd get it back from the owner rather than the owner's daughter.
So you got it back from the owner's daughter?
Yes, I had gotten it back yesterday. And
she had to take her assistance check.
Yeah, she had to take her money out of her check to give, and she has kids. She has Christmas to shop for too. Obviously, I feel bad, but it was my money, so
It's not your dog.
Absolutely.
You took care of the dog in crises.
I was willing to give the Pearl money for the dog to keep it just so I could rehome it. You know what I mean? Because it was devastating when the police called me and told me that I had to take her home. I was devastated that I had to send her back to that because she's not completely healed. I'm terrified she's going to get an infection, that Pearl's not going to take care of her properly. The other animals may lick her wounds. And besides that, Lola's teeth are not healthy enough for her even to be licking her wounds. So, I'm the one that was keeping her clean, stopping her from, licking herself just to make sure that she wasn't getting an infection. And unfortunately, I can't monitor that anymore.
There's so many what ifs, and I mean,
Yeah.
we're all like, I don't know these people. I don't know
Me neither.
like the whole situation, but I'm an animal lover, and I mean, right now there's just so many what ifs. If she were to get sick, would they have the common sense or the decency to take her back to the vet?
Yeah.
Would they just let her fall into her own demise and say, oh, well,
Like
they
they
tried,
did.
but they
She
didn't?
She was absolutely willing to do that while the dog was in labor. Not lose just Lola, but lose all three of them. And she was willing to do that. Had we not gone there, that dog would not have survived. There's no way the dog would have lived.
Yeah. Amber, of the 20 animals, last word
20
to you.
plus.
20 plus.
My honest opinion, as for Bonnie, I feel like maybe she should seriously be reevaluated and see if she's really fit for what she's supposed to be doing in her job. Because I feel extremely otherwise. I'm actually quite insulted that somebody like that is representing our area and our local OSPCA. Because everything I've heard is not how it should be. And as for the owner, I also feel like either all of her animals should be checked like a lot, or completely taken away, and there should be some sort of rule laid down against her that if she's not going to step up her act, that she should not be allowed animals. I think that's probably about it, though. I'm just still so insulted.
All right. Thank you very much, ladies.